I think there's another matter that's also running, you know. Yesterday, somebody, there's this $1 million question.
Okay.
Which I always don't know how to answer. Somebody asked me whether I will build or whether I will buy.
Oh, build versus buy.
You see, because the first house I own, I made the unmitigated error of going for a mortgage. Of course, I was young. I just come back from my MBA.
And naive.
And my mentors advised me that, bro, you talk on radio a lot, you need to get a house. So I went to see a friend who has a building company. And then he said, oh, Aloski, you're a journalist, I like you, so I'll let you pay the 25% deposit in CDs. When you finish, I'm telling you a true story. When you finish, where is Amen? I'm sure it knows the story. When you finish paying the 25%, then a bank will pay us for the rest of the building, and then they'll give you a mortgage. So basically, they'll give you a mortgage to sort.
Which is simple terms, a loan.
Yes. So this is 2009. I came from my MBA in Warwick, Charlie, speaking slangs. So I went to meet a guy, took me to the land, nice house, semi-detached, 3-bedroom house. So every month, I would pay CDs. Mm-hmm. And that time, the dollar, this was just post denomination. So Charlie, now the CD was strong. So I was going to pay the 20% of the cost of the building. Mm-hmm. I won't mention the total amount. But I was paying CDs. Yes, I was paying something around 1,000 CDs a month. I was okay. My salary was nice. So when I paid 1,000, so I paid it consistently. So when I do some MC work, I'll pay. So I paid the thing and they got to me. So after 2 years or so, they said, oh, Charlie, you've paid the 25% or something. So now you qualify to get the house. So then he wrote, they prepared me for mortgage, wrote to the bank. So the bank paid the company for the house, and then Charlie. So I got the house semi-finished. I'm making a long story short. So then between 2012 and 2014, the dollar was misbehaving. But at that time, it was like, oh, I've paid 25%, they've paid the thing. So I started renovating the house, and I finished the house. So 2015, January, I moved into the house. I have a house, Charlie, big man. Charlie.
Then?
So every month, first the mortgage was like 1,002. Then the thing went to like 1,003. And the thing was going small. So, Charlie, it reached sometimes, it reached like 1,008. Then 2K. Later, as of 2 years ago, when I finished, so I finished paying this thing end of last year.
Yes.
I was paying almost 4,500, almost 5,000 CDs.
You started from 1,000.
You know me? It was like it felt like 800 CDs.
Okay, let's say 800.
I now I almost got to 4,500, and I said no, this thing's one way. So I hustled and paid. So now when you ask me if I want to get a house, in those days they said there was land litigation and there were things. So I went for a mortgage. Now, even if I've gone for a Citi mortgage, the interest rates are also high. The dollar mortgage had an interest rate on it, but also had the Citi mortgage, which is another story. Because the dollar already appreciates against the Citi. Mm-hmm. So to even give me a dollar mortgage and charge me a rate of even anything more than 5%, you are even cheating me. But I didn't know. So I made that mistake. But now if I want a house, I'll build. That's what I told myself. Now,
you want to build?
You get the land. If you get the land, you need to have the money to start building now. Because if you get the land and land is there, somebody will come and say the land is for him. Or you have to pay 3 families. So usually you pay, then you'll be starting and say, hey, Charlie, I was okay. This guy said, if you give us 20,000, we'll stop. Because when my cousin Ate sold the land, Oko wasn't there. So Oko too is coming for it. So you pay Oko, you pay Ate, you start building. You do the foundation, everything. Now you start, then first, the builders are bad. They'll tell you that, this building, just start. Not a problem. So start. Just start. When you get some money, start. So you get a foundation, you start. You get the iron rods. Then you come next to me, say, Charlie, we have to do this. You have to do this. Long story short, the cost of building is rising like crazy. So particularly the cement. So the guy comes and says, start. It don't be anything. So you start. Now you don't want to lock. So you've done you've done the foundation. You can't leave the house. Cement price is moving in a way that it doesn't even make sense to continue the building. But still, it makes sense to build because if you want to go and get that mortgage too, he will factor all those things in and charge you. So now, I don't know whether it makes sense for a young man like you. How do you get a house? Do you get the land and build it? Do you go for a mortgage? Is it a Citi or a dollar mortgage? Because now where the cement price has reached and the cost of other building materials, I don't know how you're going to, unless you build small, you leave it for 8 months, build small, leave it for 10 months. You understand? And that one too,
Yeah, but
because you're also paying rent.
Yes.
Because those who want to build want to stop paying rent. So you need to build the thing quickly. So now, I think that the cost of cement is one of the most important things we should look at in our economy, because our economy needs
of cement.
construction. Is if you say nation building, literally you need to build houses, because we have a housing deficit in the millions. And house, if you own your own property, it's a sign. It can even give you security to take a loan. So for me, if you build your house, you are a man. Okay, and cement is one of the most important commodities in building. Yeah, so the cement price is a very important indicator of the state of the economy. Now, producer price inflation is close to 17%. I think cement is one of the key issues there. So I can understand it when the government says they want to regulate the price of cement. But my problem is that the industry is so important, but we have allowed certain bad behavior in the industry to make things worse for all of us who need to buy. Do you get my point? For an industry as critical as cement, there are too many lapses and there are too many renegades. And I'm not sure of the quality of the regulation, because regulation is not just a question of price. It's a question of quality. It's a question of taxation, fair competition. I'm not sure of all of that. That's my premise for today. So my long story, building doesn't make sense these days because of the price of cement. It's going up too much. And the regulation must be proactive and must also deal with unfair behavior in the market. This is my introductory thoughts. Let me allow the others to say some things before I come back. By the way, will you advise me to build or to buy?
It's always
chicken and egg, or it's always what?
I think it's always more. It makes more sense to build.
In Accra or in Ghana?
Well, that's the question. It makes more sense to build.
Not in Accra.
Well, it depends. It depends on your how you acquire the land. I mean, for instance, Nathan, you are a Ghanaian. Your grandfather calls you and says to you that I have given you this parcel of land. I mean, what the next logical thing is to build.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's a question that we still have not addressed in this whole burgeoning real estate thing. Do you know that there are real estate companies who have built massive estates whose lands are being contested now? How about that?
Yeah.
large.
They finished building. They've built their houses and everything, but the lands are being contested.
Yes.
Nathan, there are places I drive through. You will see the right.
Stop
Supreme Court case. No, they'll write the judgment number.
Yeah.
And then they'll say that means that all the houses
The
here.
whole enclave. You know,
serious.
I'm just saying that it's not such a
Not
straightforward
even stop
thing.
work. You finish work, you are leaving the house, and they come to write that this land you are.
You've paid for
have
it.
to regularize.
But the person who sold it to you is being questioned. I mean, not that you will lose your property, but you are going to have to do away with some more money in settling the whole issue. So I'm just saying that all other things being equal, for me, building your own property is always better, because you do it in your own time. You do it when you have the money or the resources. You know, in this Ghana that we are, what I will not advise any young person to do is to put their neck in a noose by going for a mortgage. You know, not that mortgage by itself is bad, but the dictates of our economic situation and our forex dependency doesn't make it useful. You know, you put yourself in this mortgage thing. It's like suicide. I have not done mortgage before, not in the UK, not in Ghana, because I only eat what I have. If I don't have, I don't have.
But when they were advising me to do mortgage, you look at them and advise me. You didn't tell me to stop.
No, because
And I also went to advise him to do something.
because at that period,
He's left me there.
you see, at that period is the wisest thing to do.
You saw the man advising me, and you look at me to do the
We
thing.
spoke with the man
Yeah,
together.
the thing
It's
finished.
somebody I know from
Yeah.
secondary
He said,
school.
"Oh, hey, Aloski, go and see him."
You know, and it worked.
And
You
Sky
see,
to
it worked.
Sky to join.
It also worked.
No, it's not working.
not-
Me, I
it's
finished.
working.
Sky, Samens, I finished paying my mortgage end of last year.
Yes.
Since 20,
No,
2011.
You see, if we personalize this,
And he hasn't finished. No, it's a painful thing for me.
No. Yours is different because Sky different consequences.
No, it's
Sky. He spread himself,
Bro.
Thing because he's doing too many. As we sit here, the man is at Oxford University. The man is paying this. So that's a different situation. But I'm
It's
just
not
saying
easy.
that at that time,
it made sense.
it made sense.
See your life.
If you can get a locked rate for CD mortgage,
A locked rate.
yes, CD mortgage, and it's definite. That one is manageable.
Let me say something.
But if you go and do dollar mortgage,
With the way the dollar
the
is
elements
being-
are
Let
too
me,
many.
whilst you're talking, if you are listening and you are in the industry, send us a message to explain two things to us. The difference between a CD and a dollar mortgage, and then the relative advantage of buying versus building. Whilst we do the discussion, because we're actually coming to cement and building materials.
Oh, yes.
But we are starting from my pain. So if you understand the industry better, please send us a WhatsApp. Even can be a voice note. Explain a CD mortgage and a dollar mortgage. What's the relative advantage, and also buying and building in Ghana. Now, Samens is saying that if you want to build, it has to be outside Accra. So unless or maybe Kaswa, because if you are going to build something, because the issue of land is crazy.
No, you see, if you have money, you want to build and you want to build, do it outside Accra.
Because the litigation is not as serious.
It's not as serious. And why don't you do it in your hometown? Why
I
don't
can't
you?
live there and work here.
No, you see, you want to own the property.
I want to live in my
Start with.
house
Well, you can't afford it. You can't afford it
because of the land or the building.
because of the land to start with.
land to start with.
Because of the land.
But there are now some
Land
new lands in the
prices
Kaswa area.
Hey, but
it's central
I mean,
region.
that's central region.
That's why it's central
geographically.
region.
You made me remember something, but I won't say. You know, somebody
it
said,
goes back to
somebody
the
said
point-
if they dash him a house in Kaswa, he will sell it.
But is it not that your friend?
No,
I woke up.
Charlie, he
not-
sold it.
to-
Two of my friends have sold their houses in Kaswa and ran away.
Bernard, it's not as easy. It's not as easy. This land thing is bigger than we think. You understand? Look, 10 years ago, I bought a land in a Cropon in the Eastern region. Paid like this, paid. In fact, I ended up paying to two owners.
Even 10 years ago.
Yes. After that, somebody popped up that the land belongs to them.
Charlie.
We were in court for 5 years. I left the whole matter.
Oh. What size of land is it?
2 plots.
You left the whole thing.
Yes.
Was he saying you should pay him more, or he's saying
No,
he's taking
the
the
man who sold the thing to me, no crap, no, he is also been taken to court.
land?
And every time
And
I have to
Oyo
travel
Shiketa,
to-
Homobayobo.
I have to travel to Kofodia court, and
Ochon, by the time you finish the court, the money for the land self, no, they make sense.
so I'm just saying.
So
that
how do you know? Because remember when I interviewed somebody from Kokatama, said the reason that people moved there a lot was that
The
there was a
litiga-
period
there was
that
a- yeah,
there
when
was
the
relatively less litigation on
because the traditional authorities controlled everything.
So where will we get that intelligence from? So like, are there areas in Accra that the land is
there's
less
a way to
litigation?
do it. There's a way to do it. Go to the Lands Commission, and there's a way to do it.
They when you want to buy a land, you see that's why I'm not advertising for lawyers.
But that's why we
But
need
that is the situation.
So the lawyers know where the land is
You
litigation
need
free.
someone to actually do the work, do diligence, and come to the conclusion that they have done reasonable work, which has established that, the title you seek to acquire is proper title from the right route, from the right person to alienate the property, the land in question. So, for instance, a land in this country can either be owned by an individual, a corporation, as the case may be, families, or a chief holding it in trust for the people, and in appropriate cases, the state. So when you go onto a property, Bernard says he's selling a property, and you are interested in that property. Bernard says, oh, okay, my father bequeathed this property to me, and it is close to Adenta. He takes you onto the land. Now, when you go and you see the property, the next thing you do is to engage the services of a lawyer to conduct a search. Now, that search is carried out at the Lands Commission. He will take the coordinates of the land, take it there, they will enter it into their system, and raise the necessary queries that will produce a result, showing that, oh, this land in 1920 something was first alienated by Uwu family to this particular person.
So you have the legal history.
That's why they will have the history.
But Sky, does that prevent another family member from claiming the land and going to court?
So you see, there are issues that arise as to who has the authority to alienate land. For instance, if the land is owned by the Samens family.
Are you crying? You're a Ghan. I don't know why you don't have land.
No, they have.
We do.
But they have a Kutuse area.
Give me some.
No, we do.
They have a lot of land in Kutuse.
Yeah, Pokwase, we do, but I don't involve
Give me
myself
some.
in that. No,
Because of litigation. You want to know.
Truth is, I didn't grow up with the, I didn't grow up there like that. So it's not now that you wake up,
you see, scammers. Somebody came to my office. He said, Charlie, I'll ask you to grow. You for look sharp. Charlie, look for land, give me then stop that.
Let me just. So
collect the land and let's build. And you are sitting here saying,
now the principal members of the family, the head of family, is to act in consent with the principal members of the family. Which is to say that if Samens is the head of family.
Have you seen Landguard before?
No, you see, we are not respecting.
They say we are the people who protect the houses. We are the people who protect the land.
How come all the Landguards, they have deep voice?
So the thing you're saying, are you telling me that people who buy land, you see, the Landguard, they understand this thing they talk. We say we are there here to protect the land. Go smoke happy. Well, that will be able to look and maybe.
If we follow due process and the state is prepared to enforce the law, we wouldn't get into these. Of course, there will always be difficulties because even in the UK, land disputes are right. But you don't have land guards.
You don't have land guards there.
You understand? Because people follow due process.
The guy said we had to protect the land.
So when Samens wants to alienate a land, to sell a land to Bernard, in that case, it is expected that Samens will not just sit down and say, I'm selling this land. He has to sit down with the principal members of the elders of the family to come to that decision. Okay, when you
Let
sell
me
it,
ask you a question.
What do you?
So are you saying that one of the main reasons why people get shortchanged is the fact that they don't do due diligence?
Yes.
Now, what does that due diligence have to involve? Is the due diligence of the original ownership or the legal history? What's the due diligence looking for?
All of those things, legal history and the person with the authority to sell the land.
Is that what they call the search?
Yes, the search will reveal that.
Now, this search, so it means that there are maybe cases that have been done on the land based on the coordinates. So what if the search says that the person sent the land for you, the land belongs to him? But does that mean that when you pay the money to the guy, somebody else will not come and say, I'm a joint owner? You see, because some of the lands are owned by families. So let's assume it's the I don't want to use a family that will say I'm. So let's say the Samens family.
Use my name.
That's
So
exactly
the Samens family.
No, please use
Now
it more.
the Samens family they may have six children of the man. So maybe Samens' father. There may be 6 of them. So Samens is selling the land for you. Maybe he's the oldest brother, but he has a cousin in America. So it may be Samens' family, all right. He has the original documents. You pay him money. Then his brother comes and says, "I'm also. It's for all of us."
I see.
How am I supposed to deal with that?
That was exactly the example I was giving. That he, as head of family, cannot just get up and sell property, the land.
So I should pay the money to all the family.
No, wait. He would have to sit down with the principal
Owners.
members, elders of the family,
Yeah.
and take that decision. And in taking the decision, they must also take steps to ensure that the resources, the revenue from that, will go to the benefit of the family. So
how will I know? So let's assume. I'm so Samens is the one dealing with me. So maybe he's the one who went to university, but he has 3 brothers. He comes and I see the names. It's the Samens family. Signatures are there. I pay him. Next year, I start building an ate. He appears from somewhere with Rasta. He get quoi? Oh, half a minute. Man, go to it. He says, "I'm a fucking man." Alright, that's how they behave. So it's like, no. Then my brother say, "Charlie, no, but mene, ta almost 20,000 no can handle." Because ni Ajashka, Samens balance lojo. So at the comes giddy. Then they hear say, "Oh, Charlie, the Alaska guy is full." So he give Samens 20,000. At the two came to take 10,000. Then some cousin me from somewhere two comes and says it to his part. Now, whilst I'm doing all this, they beat my people building on their land. I have to go back. You see, so I don't think it's just a legal issue. I think
it's not.
the family people know.
I mean, there are legal elements.
The family people then, you know, I make
legitimize stuff, which is what you are talking about. But the complexities that we are presented with goes beyond the legal issues.
So the point,
you know how Bernard said this jokingly. Trust me, it's the exact representation of what is on the ground. It's exact, as if you are reading.
But I think it's happening to us.
It's happening. You know, every land matter has some other family member who will make life uncomfortable for you.
You see,
so you know these agents that you talked about, maybe they may be lawyers, and those who are seasoned in this business have devised ways of satisfying all these
parties.
interests.
So he will go and sort them out.
I'm telling you.
So you need a guy who is building, who's possibly a gunman. I'm telling you, who knows the tricks, and he'll say, you know, Cash Shigbe. He'll go and meet the chief, explain to him, and say, "We are sorry, it's not a problem." When we share the money, so he will do all those underground work for you, because you yourself and your big English, they won't even mind you.
You see the procedure that I was explaining.
Go ahead.
In that case, so if Ate comes to challenge the sale of the land to you,
that I bought from Oko.
Exactly. Of course, they will go to court. Samens, as head of family, will be a legitimate party in the matter because you are trying to assert ownership. Make sure that the land is preserved for your purpose.
Yes.
The guy is challenging your title to the land.
Because he says Samens took the money and he's not the only owner.
Now the courts would have to ask themselves whether you even have any locus in the family to even challenge the decision to sell.
The guy who's challenging Samens.
Exactly. All of those things would have to be established. So
while that is going on, I'm paying rent and I want to build a house. So I'm going to this court thing.
You see.
But this court thing is not going to be done in 3 months.
That's my point. So the whole thing. So I'll go and pay. So you see, the mortgage thing.
I've seen a situation. My cousin's place at Ajinga. The thing went to court. The court passed judgment. Or it's not judgment. The one that they tell you to hold on.
That's an interim order.
Yes.
Restraining you from going on to
they
the
gave
land.
restraint order. The people went ahead and built.
You see, in that case,
Impunity.
the person affected needs to go back to the court and say that, look, the guy acted in contempt of court.
The court is not calling the case next week.
That's the other issue.
You see, I'm just saying that it's too complex.
And then the
now.
other issue too is that it's a lot of things. So sometimes people who do bad things on land take some of the land and give it to judges or give it to police.
So now,
so he'll go he'll. It's true. Like, so maybe you have a land litigation. The other party will say, "Oh, you cry the land, we'll go sort you some." Okay, because boys are brave. So
that's a hypothetical.
No, I don't know. I'm not saying I know a specific case, but
that will give you some.
So if like
that
so,
will give
so
you
Sky,
some.
this issue is raising about the case delay.
They give security people. They give people on the bench. They give people. It's
and you
there.
see, so once you have been given, so maybe you are the station officer for the police station in that area. They say, "You cry, you are a poor man. You are growing. Okay, your wife is not happy. Your son is going to go to university. Don't be foolish." So they give you 2 plots. And they say, by the way, we have to sort out Inspector Kofi and Kofi Mensa. They give all of you the land. Then now, when I go with Sky to court with your big release, frustration, so I start the building, land guys come, they won't come. Yes, so that is basa. So you see, I'm trying to make a point. The mortgage I'm paying for all these things. So even though Samens is saying that paying to somebody to build for it doesn't take all of that away. It takes away some of the headache. So that interest rate and all those things he's charging me, he's basically saying, I'm going to fight all those battles for you. I'm going to buy all the building materials. Just pay me and come into the house. So so I'm not paying for just the true cost of the building. I'm paying for the litigation. I'm paying for the blows he took on the
sorting out.
Because Guy, this is the thing you said about they will ask the ate whether he's part. what even complicates the matter? Maybe the man I pay the money to, maybe he's even dead.
You see, in many cases, some men acted alone without involving the principal elders of the family. And in which case, other members of the family who have legitimate interest in the property are not
So now when you want
informed.
to buy land, you have to ask them to do a family meeting.
That is the proper
But if
way.
they do a family,
Oh,
how,
no.
how will you know?
It's not
But
practical.
how will you know? Wait,
Which
the
is
question,
wrong.
how will you know if everybody in the family is there? So does the search include the name
But
of
do you know the
family
family
members?
members?
Hold on.
If they go and bring people that they assemble,
How will you know?
some places that I know, they will bring people
Sky.
and they will talk as if, Charlie, we are the legitimate.
And the other issue is that
No, you see,
this
brother,
guy sitting here
you should
may
know
have cousins he doesn't even know.
You say, yeah.
Ah, was it not recently that you, one of our staff, you found out that her mother was your father's cousin or something? The person was working here for 4 years. We didn't even know. Yes, so in Ghana, their family, they you even know because they meant to they play away much plenty. So you are there. Ah, it's
Shots
when
fired,
when the
oh.
man dies,
Stray
when the
bullets.
man dies, then some 3 people will also emerge. I say, what are these people? They say they are my friend, but the man to they look like the boy, so you can't say he's not his son. You see, so that thing, this is what I'm saying, and I'm coming to a cement matter, but I'm saying that Sky, one of the most difficult bottlenecks to our development economically is land.
Yeah.
In economics, they
Major.
tell us
Huge.
there are factors of production: land, labor, capital,
Capital.
and enterprise.
The one who wrote that theory, he didn't know the Ghana problem. In fact, the land one is like 80%.
The land one. So let's assume he wants to build a hotel, set up a factory. He will pay like 3 times the amount for the land. Right? So even the building is before he starts the building, because he doesn't want to go to court, so he probably pay. So the cost of doing business in Ghana includes the cost of acquiring land. We haven't even talking about labor and their lack of seriousness. Then we're talking about capital. The cost of money in Ghana is the most expensive in West Africa because the cost of money is the interest rate you pay on it. Your interest rate is around 30%. So the cost of land, you've paid 3 times or you've gone to court for 3 years. The cost of capital is the interest rate or the exchange rate. Because if you go and borrow dollars to build, you are coming to invest dollars in Ghana. The cedis you are getting is moved from 5.8 to 14. So the cost of money, bobo. Local interest rate, you can't get. Do you understand? So the bottleneck to the development is this land issue we haven't cracked. And I am saying that the reason the government is not doing it well is that they themselves and general governments, every time they want
Compromised.
to intervene in land, they share.
The booty.
Occupy Ghana has made a request for the redemarcated Achimota forest for us to know who the people who are owning the land up to today. He's written letters that, okay, you say you want to demarcate Achimota forest land, no problem. We want to know who the beneficiaries will be. They don't want to mind the guy. So how can these same politicians now lead a conversation on land reform? How will LAP 1 work? If they were neutral and they were saying, we are not interested. Now, military are in land. They are fighting like people over land. Police are in land. Judges are in land. Politicians are in land. So it's going to, and it's going to get to a point, people will start. A soldier was killed in front of a police station less than a month ago. Think about it. A soldier killed he wasn't killed at midnight though. And he wasn't killed in the bush.
He was on his way to the police station.
Sky.
Complain.
Yes.
Sky.
Go and complain.
If
of
a
land
soldier
encroachment.
who was not armed from the reports we have can be shot in the day in front of a police station over a 2 plot. Is it 1 plot or half plot of land?
That is Kwame Ahindi.
I want to hear a proper solution from the people campaigning for president. If I get the chance to interview them, it will be one of the questions I'll ask them.
Yes. What
is their
land?
idea?
But you have to interview them.
What is their idea about land?
Bernard, please, not to cut you. You have to invite them and interview them. If they don't come, let's do a Paul Adomotri.
No.
You remember Paul Adomotri's Osafma interview?
We'll put the photo there.
The why he put a chair there and put his photo there.
So what I'm saying is that I understand that point, but see, the land issue doesn't show up in the campaign yet because even though we are all suffering, we don't raise it that much and people don't see it as a direct issue.
It is showing up in a different fashion, which is the mining bit.
So
even agriculture.
yes, so but we need to mainstream the land issue. Okay, so I'm trying to say that. So see how this links to you as a person trying to build a house to make your family comfortable, and why you will become a victim of these sharks. Because I call the mortgages sharks. right? Why do you give me a dollar mortgage in Ghana and charge me an interest rate of 12%?
You don't earn in dollars.
Sky, let's take this one by one. You've given me a loan of $30,000, which you said I should pay in 25 years. Now, in 25 years, the value of the cedi has depreciated to the dollar. I did a calculation.
Almost 100%.
Between 2007 and 2023 December, the cedi lost 92% of its value. So if you took a mortgage in 2007, the value of the cedi is almost 5% of what it was.
Yeah.
That means that the dollar has appreciated against the cedi in the whatever. Then you now charge me a 12% interest rate on that dollar loan. This is usury. If you take a cedi mortgage, your interest rate is 30%. You get me? So I need somebody to tell me how we are going to crack the mortgage market. What is the government or the opposition's solution to making housing? And don't tell me you're going to build houses for people. Don't tell me you're going to do Saglemi, because Saglemi, look at what has happened. The whole thing is a mess. The best way to do it is let the land be litigation free. Let people purchase and build. Or buy a land bank, clear of litigation, and resell it. But in Ghana, they will sell it to their cronies. So there's a whole nut of land that has to be cracked. Before we even come to the issue of building, I think building is one of the quickest ways to grow an economy because it's still labor intensive. If you are developing your land, you use area boys. If you are doing foundation, you use laborers. When the laborers meet, the Yokegari seller is there. The Banku seller is around. When they pay them by day, they spend it. Yeah. Do you get my point? It's a multiplier effect. So if you want an economy to grow, make sure people are building. Everybody will save towards their school fees and their building. Whether they are taxi driver, they are president. Everybody wants to pay their children's school fees. Everybody wants to build a house. So if you want to open up the economy, make it easy for people to get access to land and to get building materials to build. Now that brings me to the cement issue. Cement is a strategic economic resource. It's of national security interest. If cement prices, because its pass-on effect is incalculable. So I understand the cement market is oligopolistic. So there are few big guys in the industry. All right. So I understand it when the trade minister wants to regulate it. But what we've done is that we've allowed people to enter the market who have lowered the standard, who are not even paying the right taxes. So quality is being compromised. Yeah. Now, if you have poor cement to build a house, it can collapse and kill you. So it's the issue of cement is not just the pass-on effect economically, but the safety issue.
And security of occupants.
Do you get my point? So most of our cement companies are at the port area. Why? Some are in Buipe and other places because they are close to the raw material. But we still import some of the raw material and then we redo it at the port side. There has to be a bigger conversation around maintaining standards in the industry and looking at price. Now, the government says they can't raise their price. I'm not one for determining price ceilings and price floors. It doesn't work in the long run. But I think we need to discuss the merits of what this ministry is trying to do in the latest announcement. If you can read the story for us, they've said that the cement companies should not increase their price.
Yeah. So if you go to citinewsroom.com, the story is that Katie Hammond, who is the Minister of Trade, he's directed the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee to instruct cement manufacturing companies in Ghana to immediately reverse the recent increase in cement prices. The minister, recalling his directive to the CMDC at its inauguration in March 2024, the 8th of March, further requested the publication of the retail prices of cement by all cement manufacturers in the country to stop the continuous arbitrary increases in cement prices. So this from Katie Hammond. This on citynewsroom.com, 16th of May. But the Cement Manufacturers Association, they fought back, they've pushed back, and they've rejected the minister's directive to halt price increases. President of the Cement Manufacturers Association is George Dorsinama. He said the directive was without basis. He had no justification, and he further explained that the issues of paying dollar equivalent duties at the ports, high electricity cost, water, and the continuous depreciation of the city had to be resolved before cement prices would go down.
It's unfortunate because in the very first place, it takes one's mind to, a price control regime where there can be a directive from the ministry in regards to pricing, how pricing should be when one can actually increase price or reduce price. So it's like a price control regime, which of course we don't have that in Ghana. It's a free market, and basically these manufacturers or producers, set their prices based on production costs. By economics, this is actually what happens. That one cannot arrive at a retail price or a selling price without taking into consideration the production costs. And this is what has happened now. The cement industry is, it's like things over importation of raw materials. Producing a bag of cement or manufacturing cement in Ghana, you need about 75 to 80% imported raw materials. The chunk of it you are talking about clinker, which we don't have anywhere in Ghana, we need to import. Then other spare parts, other equipment, blah, 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 that sort of thing. So that should tell you that fluctuation of exchange rate is crucial, very crucial to this actually industry. Very crucial, the frustration. And this is what my brother, we've been experiencing. For 3 months, Citi to $1 from 11 to 15. And like I told you, that is what is actually happening in the cement industry. So the price increase which recently going on, basically due to the exchange rate fluctuation, which actually is a result of the Citi depreciation. You import with dollar, you come and sell in Citi, you change into dollar to go for raw materials. So basically that is what has happened.
So if you are to meet the minister today on this particular directive, you mean you can outrightly tell him this directive will not materialize, or it's not feasible?
No, the point is that as it is right now, you know very well that like I said, we are not in a price control regime.
Yeah.
What you can do is negotiation. Maybe we just talk about after the fact, the justification, the reason for the price increase is obvious. The minister can tell me that he doesn't know what's going on. And he is our sector minister, and I would say that the cement industry, we have a good relationship with the Minister of Trade and Industry. And surprisingly, I think whatever should be a directive should have been inviting us to justify, inviting us to negotiate, inviting us to look at the circumstances, looking at it, so that we can all together, the government and the industry, can find an antidote to that. For this directive, honestly, I think, for me, I don't know, for want of better ways, I think that should not have been the approach. Should have not been the approach.
But
because it's investment, and they need to put in their investment. And here we are talking about production costs that have led to retail prices. So it's like the best approach to look into what has precipitated or what has necessitated this price increase. I think that should be the best approach. Absolutely. A directive, just to withdraw, announce retail price. On what basis? On what basis? Now, like I told you, we are talking about production costs. Okay, this reason that you increase the price. Now dollar is 15, but dollar is now 12. So please adjust your price increase accordingly. But just plain withdraw your prices based on what? The situation does not change.
So that was Dr. George Dosinamwa. He's the president of the Cement Manufacturers Association of Ghana.
So this is the main issue
Yeah.
that drove me here. But before we get there, somebody sent me a message. He said, Bernard, well done. You have learned how to speak like a land guard.
You graduated.
Charlie, the way that they talk,
They always have deep
Charlie?
voices, Charlie.
Easy. But knowing how to speak Ghana always helps you in Ghana. If you can
telling
speak
you.
Ghana, you will go through many difficult areas of your
I'll
life.
tell you what.
I'm telling
When
you
we
the truth.
moved to Tesano,
Yes.
Charlie,
Some people came here, giddy, 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 giddy.
when we're building,
Charlie.
the guys will come, and then at the time it was Koja Koto who was supervising
Charlie,
the project,
don't be easy.
and so when they go and they see the Ashanti man,
They want to finish it.
Charlie, they will harass them until one day they came and they were doing their things, and I responded in Ghana. Oh, numuebe sawotashimo.
You see that? You see that?
That's when the whole
You see that
equation changed.
You see that? Guy, you have to learn how to speak some languages. So.
You know.
Otherwise you go chop hot for Ghana.
Yeah, but Bernard, I think for me, for whatever it's worth, I'm not so sure whether the press has quoted the minister
Sure?
in exact terms.
Ah.
As in, I forbid you. You can't raise the price of cement
let me get
beyond a certain
Let me look for the right
level.
quote.
I mean, the minister cannot do that. I mean,
That's if he said that.
Yeah, that's if he said that. He can't do that. What does that mean?
Can I read the story?
What does that mean? The
minister
elements that go into the pricing, the minister does not control, or the ministry does not control. The ministry does not control forex. If the ministry does not control forex, how do they control prices?
Can I read it for you? The Minister for Trade and Industry, Citi Hammond, has directed the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee, CMDC, to instruct cement manufacturing companies in Ghana to immediately reverse the recent increase in cement prices.
It will be of no
The
consequence.
minister, recalling his directive to the CDMC at its inauguration on 8 March 2024, further requested the publication of the retail prices of cement by all cement manufacturers in the country to stop the continuous arbitrary increase in cement prices. He further reiterated his call for the CMDC to work with cement companies to ensure uniform cement prices nationwide by adopting a unified cement pricing mechanism akin to the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund (UPPF) adopted by the National Petroleum Authority for Fuel Retail in Ghana. Now, the CDMC, this is the background Citi is giving you now. The CDMC, which was established under the Ghana Standards Authority, Manufacture of Cement Regulations 2013, LI 2480, is chaired by the Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu. It comprises representatives of cement manufacturers, Association of Ghana Industries, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Ghana Institution of Engineers, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. It is the regulator for cement manufacturers in the country and is charged, among other things, to quote, promote the manufacture, wholesale and retail of cement and cement companies and cement components, unquote. So the regulator is saying that they should reverse the new prices immediately.
But that's
So the CDMC is now the new UPPF.
Yeah,
Bernard,
but
even
that's
the fact
regulator.
that the fact that they compare it to the petroleum thing, that's where the thing falls flat on its face, because you see the elements of the price makeup of petroleum is directly under the control of government and
All
authorities.
these taxes and things.
You understand? Now you are talking about clinker, which clinker itself forms about 70%
yeah.
of the volume of the whole cement. And who produces clinker in Ghana? Nobody. We bring from outside dollar, and this dollar is running. Is sprinting, not to be running, sprinting.
It has overtaken Usain Bolt now.
Yes. So you are telling me that when I go and change the dollar and I buy, I should lose by reducing. Oh, what does that mean?
So it won't fly.
No, that one
It
won't
can't
work.
be. It can't be
It
enforced.
can't. So you see, apart from clinker,
But it's a minister. Oh.
no.
Mr.
Apart
Akasa,
from this clinker business, even the clinker self, we can talk about it, Bernard.
As in, it's not
You
even.
know, as we speak now,
Yes.
I'll take you through something.
Aish.
We had Gasem, which was like there forever.
Yeah.
And Gasem at the time had 2 factories. I think one in Tema and one in Takrady or so. Then Diamond Cement came in 1991.
They did Buipe, Aflao, and then Tema.
Correct.
Yes, yeah.
Then 2011, we had Dangote Cement. Okay.
Yes.
Now, see that from 2007 coming, we've had plenty. After Dangote, then Jata Cement came. Then Savannah Cement. Then Western Diamond Cement, 2015. Then we have CIMAF.
Simaf, Chinese.
No, they are Moroccan.
Morocco, okay, so
yeah.
Morocco, yeah.
Then CBI. CBI is Supercem.
Super Sam, okay.
Good, French.
Okay,
Then Empire Cement.
okay.
Then we had Soul Cement.
Hey, then it's getting a lot now.
Then we had Safe Cement. Then we had Unisem. We have KCG.
So how many do
I
you
think
have
I
now?
thought at the point we had Pozolana.
No, that's a
Pozolana
different,
is different
a
type.
different
Different
technology.
type.
So how many
Yeah.
do you have now?
13.
As against the 1 or 2 like 15 years ago.
Yes, 13.
13.
Now, yes. Now that tells you that there's potential in that industry, that space.
And all of them import clinker.
Of course.
Because the clinker is not
70,
made
yes.
here, it's not produced.
You understand? And now what I'm saying is that we need to address the inequalities in the whole processing before we come to pricing. Okay. Now, it's so easy to be able to determine who is underpricing and who is benefiting from criminal activities by underdeclaring their tax liabilities. It's very easy.
So you think the minister should focus more on that
First,
than this issue of.
first, you know, if you solve that issue, you have a better reality.
So your point is that some are able to charge much lower because they either
They are dodging
underdeclare-
taxes. They
So-
underdeclare. Because Bernard, see, if you bring clinker, you can't bring clinker to this country and not be noticed at the ports.
It's not something you can hide.
No.
It's
you
not
can't
something you
hide
can
it.
hide. Okay. Now, if I see 1,000 tons of clinker, if I see 1,000 tons of clinker, I know how much cement should come out of it. Straight up. You know, 1,000 tons of clinker will give an exact amount of cement for everybody.
So somebody shouldn't be declaring X amount of clinker and still produce Y amount of
of
cement,
cement.
higher than the volume of clinker he declares. So this is very easy to audit. You don't even need SML to do
I'm
it.
saying.
No.
This one you can.
So, yeah,
Simple.
so you see that the
But
man
if you
has
say it
declared
tomorrow,
that he
they'll go and
bought
create
1,000
another SML.
tons of clinker, meaning that say he will
Yes.
produce say 20,000 tons of cement. Now the 20,000 tons of cement, 1 ton of cement on the average pricing is $95, equivalent of $95.
Yes.
That's the average pricing. Now, if you sell this one, it should result in a certain expected income, out of which you have your VAT and your other taxes. Now, the person sells this to 20,000 tons of cement and underdeclares, and we look unconcerned. Now, if he underdeclares and he pays less taxes as opposed to what their competitors are paying, what do you think will happen at the price point at the retail level? And they are getting away with it. They are getting away with
Sell
it.
more, yes.
You understand? So let's resolve. You see, so that there will be equality at that level. Once there's equality, we can now come back and take the elements and try and adjust. Price of electricity. The thing keeps going up. And we say that we are capping the price. I mean, look, let the market determine. For instance, no, if you have a mason who's building, the mason doesn't understand quality cement though.
He just goes to buy cement.
He buys the cement that's cheaper. So truth is, at the marketplace, no, the one with the highest price point is the one who's losing anyway.
So your point is that the way it's going, there's incentive to actually underdeclare.
Oh yes,
And because we are in a high price environment, people will prefer to pay for cheap cement.
that's it.
So the ministry must be more focused on ensuring that people's under declaration of their raw materials at the port gets checked, so they pay the right price, so that there will be a right price environment. So what is happening right now is people are undercutting each other.
People are undercutting because they are drawing advantage from underdeclaring their income.
So what is the government's objective? Because I'm confused here. The government says they shouldn't raise their price. So ostensibly the government is trying to say the price should be low for all of us.
Yes.
But shouldn't the government's objectives be quality cement
That is
in the
one.
market and also their revenue in terms of taxes?
Yes.
So if somebody is under declaring their
It's going
inputs,
against the government's kitty
so,
anyway. So
or is it that again, as we always have, there's an interpose between maybe Trade Ministry and Finance, GRA, and because a lot of these cases we see.
They are all involved.
My point is that there's always like clash of policy where the GRA and the Finance Ministry want to maximize revenue, but then maybe the regulator for the industry is looking at lower prices, and therefore we'll be happy if we'll look the other way. Let me qualify what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. If the person regulating the cement industry, the GSA and the Ministry of Trade, they don't want cement price to go up to affect construction. If somebody is even under declaring their goods at the port, to the extent that that person can charge a lower price for their cement, they may turn a blind eye because they feel like if cement prices are low, the agitation in the system is do you understand me?
Yeah.
So I can see the logic of rather saying don't raise the price. If the price of cement is high, everything else goes up. So he was prepared to sacrifice the revenue objective of Amin and the GRA people if it will result in pushing prices down. But what that does though is that it may lead to the market distortion to a point where the quality people will also say, they will all lose. So you must balance the issue of stable prices with revenue maximization, holding constant the issue of quality. Because if somebody can under declare and start selling at a lower price, what else can they do and get away with?
The question is whether under the legislative instrument, which appears to be in play here, the minister has the authority, or even the committee has the authority to tell members how they should sell their product, the price that they don't. If you go to the legislation,
the LI.
You go to the legislation. You go to functions.
You found it.
Functions of the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee.
CDMC.
Yes. In order to achieve the object of the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee, the committee shall make recommendations to the minister on the approval of an application for registration and licensing of a manufacturer of cement. B, establish audit procedures and conduct periodic audits for the purpose of monitoring compliance in these regulations. C, appraise, evaluate, and approve local content and local participation plans and reports of cement manufacturing entities. D, promote the manufacture, wholesale, and retail of cement and cement components. E, facilitate an environment that is conducive to efficient investment in the cement industry. F, work with the cement industry to identify needs, challenges, and opportunities. G, undertake public education and sensitization programs to achieve the purpose of these regulations. And finally, H, perform any other function assigned by the minister for the implementation of these regulations.
Is there anything about price there?
No, there's nothing about price. And if you search through the whole legislation, there's no reference to price whatsoever. There's reference to sale, but not in the manner as to determine the cost at which producers are selling or importers are selling cement at the point of sale. So, look, the government's job is to create the right environment to facilitate the growth of businesses. Now, if the business environment is bedeviled with all the problems that we are talking about, high taxes, those at the port you are importing, the tax rates are pegged against the US dollar. You have cost of utilities very, very high. The US dollar is hitting us so badly, and people cannot simply get by in their production efforts. How do you expect to go and tell them, instruct them as to how much they sell their things? Because all of these inputs, as Amen said, will go into determining what is the optimal level at which prices should be. Now, if you have not facilitated the right environment, it is not like we are in the military days where,
control price.
Exactly. Say, Kenke, you have to sell it for 1 CD. And so everybody comes. No. The determinants as to what price is optimal or efficient or good for the person selling are determined by how much it goes.
Can I rephrase the question? Let's assume he doesn't have the power to do that and he realizes that the cement is such a strategic product. Can he seek to get the legislation to create something like the petroleum people have, where now there's a pricing formula, there's a you know how they regulate the pricing of fuel, the so-called UPPF. Is this something they should start exploring so that they will ground? Because I'm thinking that cement is such a critical national asset, so that even though there are like 8 or 9 players, there should be the government cannot just sit down and let people charge anything they want for cement. Or because the Ghana government doesn't have as much shares in Gasem anymore. So most of the companies are private companies.
Aloski,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that in the cement retail space, the higher the price of your cement, the more disadvantageous it becomes to the company. So
People won't buy.
people will not buy. It's so price sensitive at the point of sale. So no company is waking up thinking that the higher my price, it comes to the perceived degree of quality. It's not true. It's never ever true. In fact, the lower the price, the more volumes you sell. So it's in the interest of cement companies to actually lower their prices. But you cannot lower the prices to your own detriment. This is what we are saying. Because you have salaries to pay, which is same for everybody. But the process, the components of the processes, you don't control all. And major one, look, the quality, the organization that he talked about, they can't control prices. Theirs is to ensure quality. That's why it's under the Ghana Standards Authority. Yes. You understand?
So there's no price mandate there.
Now, the quality question, people make choices. Indeed, when they are buying the cement, they know what they are buying. There's one that is full of limestone. They add limestone to the clinker. That's what is happening now. So that they can reduce their dependency on forex. So they take limestone from different places in Ghana here to box up the clinker and do the cement.
Let's take the view of the
Grader.
Ghana Real Estate Development Association on the current price of cement and then the directive for the increase in price to be reversed and issues around the industry. Mr. Who do you have on the line?
We have Sami Amegaibo. He's the executive secretary of Grader.
Okay, let me start and you continue. Mr. Amegaibo, good morning.
Bernard,
Papa, how are you, sir?
I do for you.
All right. What is the current price of cement? 42.5 R per bag and 32.5 R. Can you give us an idea?
Because of the increment that hit us from yesterday, I can't be too sure.
Oh, the increment was only yesterday?
Yeah, most of it. The significant one was just yesterday or so.
Okay.
Where cement prices went up by about 10 cedis in some cases, 12 cedis, 16 cedis per bag. You know what I mean? On the price of cement. Yeah, this happened from yesterday. Others are still adjusting as I speak to you. So it's very difficult to tell what the prices are even now.
What was the price before the 10 to 12 cedi increase?
You could get some from, say, 76, depending on which brand and then which strength, maybe 32.5 R and all. And then some were 80, 85, others were around 90. So now I think it starts from perhaps 85 upwards.
So if we take 32.5 R generally, how different are the prices across competitors? So is there a wide variation? Like for example, if you take petrol, if I'm going to buy Super, whether it's Gold or Shell or Total, it's plus or minus. It's not that much, right?
Yeah.
So if you take the 2.5 hour cement between maybe Gasem, CMAF, Diamond, Dangote, and then Jata, for 2.5 hour cement, will there be such a wide difference in their prices?
I remember when we were buying cement at around 40 to 45. The margins were 1 cedi, 1.5, thereabouts. But now you can differently see 6 cedis, 5 cedis, 7 cedis, depending on which brands you are comparing.
So I can assume that the premium brands will be more expensive than some of the less known brands. So usually the established brands will be more expensive, sometimes by 6 cedis, over the newer and less established brands, which may be much, much cheaper.
Yes. In fact, now with what is happening now, you can even see about 8 to 10 cedis difference between some brands vis-a-vis
8 to 10 cedis, and this is within the same category of 32.5 R.
Yes, you can get it.
That's serious. It means that for some of these cheaper brands, their 42.5 R may even be cheaper than somebody 32.5 R.
That is a possibility. We may have to find out now with what is happening. We may have to send your team out there to go and check exactly what's happening.
Why was the 10 to 12 cedi increase such a bad thing for you in the building industry?
Our productions. I mean, house is a manufacturing, and so we are in the business of manufacturing houses. And cement, is a very profound component among the building materials that we use for our production. And so anything that happens to it, it definitely significantly affects the overall operations of the production of the house or buildings in general. So when there are price increments of this nature, where the margins are suggesting between 6, 8, and 10% of the existing market, the existing market prices before the increment, it tells you that overall it's going to be very significant. It's going to affect us very significantly.
When was the last time a major increase in cement price was implemented?
I think it should be somewhere last year. When generally prices were going up, not cement alone, cement, iron rods, and most of the major materials that we're using, they were all going up. And then cement, came out among those, among the materials that had the major hits. And then at a point, it started coming down. I don't know if you noticed it. We were buying cement towards 100 cedis per bag. And then it started coming down to 90, 92, depending on which brand. Others were even selling it less than 80. Sometimes I used to see people advertising 78, and in some cases 76. And then, over the period, it was fluctuating. 1 cedi, 2 cedi margin. You can't really tell what is going on. Then we had this very significant increase or astronomical increase these few days, which has caused these media sensations about it now.
So, in a sense, you agree with the Minister of Trade when he says they should reverse the price increase immediately?
Yeah, I mean, if I am a user of a product and prices are going up and my minister issues a statement which suggests that there's a concern that prices are going up and so something must be done about it, I agree that is fair to make a comment of this nature. However, to go beyond making a comment and issuing a directive to cause prices to come down, I don't know how that will work, because we are in a free economy, and also I am also into manufacturing. If I start getting certain factors that affect my prices going up on the market, the fair thing to make me sustain my business is obviously to see where I can absorb. But if I cannot absorb, I have no other choice than to increase the price to make it possible so I don't lose my capital and stay in business. So at least we can continue to provide some living for people or the citizens than to find our capital diminishing and collapsing businesses for people to be asked to go home. And so there must be a fair balance, and the request must be fair. So I don't see how a directive of this nature would necessarily be accepted by a manufacturer who is obviously saddled and confronted with costs that he has no control over. And so we would have expected that such a directive will also include a contribution, mitigation measure, a contribution from the issuer of that directive, that in view of the price hikes in cement production, government have decided to do this and that, and so to contribute to mitigating price hikes. But there's no contribution from the side of the government except to issue directives to cause people who have invested money in businesses to try and make profit and also sustain themselves to lose their businesses, to collapse their businesses, or to stop production and ask people to go home. I'm not too sure what that directive is supposed to serve, actually.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Sami Amegaibo. He's the Executive Secretary of GREDA, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association. This matter there, Charlie.
Let's go.
People are really interested. This one says, last week I bought cement at 75 cedis. This week I bought it at 90 cedis. Charlie, so that's the story there. This one says, you can check. Clinker duty the world over is 0 rated. All the minister has to do is remove the duty rates on clinker to 0 rate to enable the price to fall. It was in Rawlins's regime that the duty was slapped on clinker. Then the message says iron rods is also they're also another building that has to be looked at
in the building.
in the building mix. Yeah. Courage from Dodoa says masons know the quality of cement. To add to this, we are working under a contractor here in Accra, and the quality of cement is low. Anytime you mix the concrete, you will not see any cement. We complain to him. Instead of him lowering the sand, he insists that we use more sand.
The building will collapse.
Problem. Dennis Adusu from Dansoman says, you wouldn't like an experience of the land guard. Sky, you even get frustrated. You can call police, they'll come for days, and immediately they leave, the land guards will come back. Massa, I left my half plot and I don't even want to follow it up again.
Oh, Charlie.
This is terrible.
Yeah, this one says, doing common search at Lands Commission is a pain sometimes. This one says, I always advise you to build than to buy. Contractors building to sell are building with minimal investment, and as such, quality is always 80% problematic. Okay,
That's also another point. Yeah.
Mokole says, Uncle Zamens, Citi mortgage is better. Okay, that's his perspective. Fanuel says, start your building by raising maybe 2 rooms in which you can complete quickly, move in, and then take time to complete the entire building. This way, your rent payments will enable you to finish building. Okay.
Then you gotta remove the roofing sheet.
Oh man, this one says, let me trivialize this suggestion. When you want to buy land, just sneakily start some digging on the land before payment, or start moving materials to site, and you see all the landowners popping up.
So start building before. If you live to tell the tale.
Yeah. Joe in Kaswa says, I think it's good to build because you have the chance to do it to suit your situation. For a 3-bedroom house, you can start by doing a hall and chamber, move in, and continue while you live there. Okay. This one says, just this morning, I got in touch with an agent I met last year. Beginning of last year, a house was selling at 550,000 or 600K max, 3-bedroom in Sapem, and the same house is now 800,000.
Is it Ghana Cedis?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And this is Sapema. Sapema.
This one says, Bernard, what Sky is saying is just in the books. When you buy land in some places in Accra, just forget it. Please inform Sky that you don't need to be a lawyer to request for a search from Lands Commission. When you find land you are interested in, just go to the Lands Commission and do a search.
Let me read one message.
It's not. I didn't say that you need a lawyer. What I'm saying is that the kind of rigor and due diligence you require to determine whether this is worthy of investing in, it is a trained mind who should be able to tell you that. In which case, when the lawyer gets it wrong, you know what to do.
Let me do one response to, I ask people to give me a rubric for determining whether to build or buy, whatever. So this one says fixed rate mortgage over variable mortgage. That's first thing to consider. Second thing, Citi mortgage over forex mortgage in volatile exchange rate environments like Ghana. That's 2. 3, savings to build incrementally over mortgage loans. So it's based because 4, vertical incremental construction. Room by room expansion over horizontal incremental construction, completing element by element, foundation, floor, walls, roof, etc. So that's point number 4. 5, for first time ownership, land sharing to standard plot. 6, for low income household, cooperative housing development approach to individual housing development. This is the whole topic for each day. Dr. Ohini Safo, thank you for this one. So Sky, when you finish paying your dollar mortgage and you drink your lens and soup, then you now follow this one.
Sometimes you are nodding to the point that said building
vertical increment.
A lot of people have
vertical increment over
vertical increment.
So there's a way of doing
in terms of like how the height.
Here's a lawyer telling me something. Bernard, you can do all the search. Lawyer will do all the work, yet after buying, someone will still sue, apply for injunction, and that injunction will take 1 year to determine. The problem is the judicial system and how land matters are determined in court. Most of them will come to you. Lawyer, I want an injunction. This is all they want because they know if they get the injunction, the buyer or developer will pay for the land again. If they don't get the injunction, they won't proceed with the case. They move to the next land. And Bernard, it's not Accra anymore. I'm facing a similar case even in Anglonga.
I can agree.
I agree.
All right, a few more. This one says, this land and building issue is becoming a real menace in our country. But there's a local startup named Ayuda that people can consult. Okay, Emmanuel from Tesano. This one says you can do your due diligence when acquiring a land. there's a strategy clients and families use now. They sell to you. Later, one person from that same family will say they didn't consult them, and all the other family members will rally behind him and come for you. Then after some time, they do same with another family member against you. Says most of the land guards are part of this cartel. And they all benefit.
Let's hear this one before we come into wrap up.
Yeah.
I'm a building technologist quantity surveyor. The best decision I took in 2012 was taking a mortgage when I had already bought a land and put up a 2-bedroom en suite, shell and core. I took a $38,000 mortgage to be repaid over a period of 15 years at 13% interest. My repayment was $510.27. I have 3 more years to go. Over the period, I have completed and converted a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, plus 1-bedroom boys' quarters, which I'm putting up for sale. Building is up on time, and I live in my own house next door to the property I'm selling. The mortgage property in Lakeside Estate Community 8 is on rent as we speak. See the property for sale below. Kofi, so when you started in 2012, the dollar was how much? Now I know these things because the dollar in 2012 was the last year of mills. It was like 2.085. And it's 15 years. So 2012 plus 15, 2027. And you have 3 years to go, correct? Now the dollar is 14.
Yep.
So your monthly repayment
510
times 2 was about 1,000 cedis. So now you're paying 7K. Well, you're a smart guy. Maybe you know how to work the market. For the rest of us who are not that intelligent, the dollar mortgage, bede. Bede?
Yeah.
Never.
Never ever.
A gun to our head.
You won't do it.
Oh, you won't.
I see.
So we will now come back to the cement matter again, because I think the substantive issue here is that minister says nobody should increase prices. Yesterday, Gasem went up by 10 cedis. Okay, they went up by 10. Now all of them have gone up.
This is between 10 and 12.
Between 10 and 12. Okay, so retail price for 42.5 R is now around 110, 105 to 107. In fact, Gasem 42.5 R is 107. Okay, 32.5 R is 91. Jata Cement is 108. And guess what? You have a company like Bright Cement. Bright Cement is in Kumasi.
I think Super Cement is 105.
Yeah, okay.
Super Cement is 105.
So all of them. But why is that? The depreciation of the cedi is about 80% of the problem. The minister cannot control that. Now, rising fuel prices is another component of the problem. The minister cannot control that.
The transport.
Yes, the cost of freight. The cost of freight, both freight coming in and internal logistics. Everything is going up. And you sit and say that control price. It's not logical. You can't do that. Now, even among the people are undercutting in the quality space. They are using limestone. Now some of them are using quarry dust. They're using quarry dust.
Hey, in place of what?
Yes, they are using quarry dust to make up, just to instead of buying too much clinker, they are doing all sorts of things.
And that has implications on all kinds of
Yes,
on
they're
all
doing all
levels.
sorts of things.
Safety, security.
So I'm just saying that it's not, the solution is not, hey, bring your prices down. No, it is going through the process. First of all, win-win, so that Ghana revenue will be able to achieve their target. In 2023, one of the companies beat the Ghana revenue to it by an amount of $60 million in 2023 alone.
That's how much they got away with.
Yes, they got, yes.
Serious?
$60 million, one cement company. Is there. I don't want to mention the name because of, but it's there. $60 million. They made away with 50. It's the smartness and maybe the willingness of the Ghana revenue that caught them and they were made to pay back. You understand? There are others that are getting away with it. As we speak today, a lot of them are getting away with it. And as I said, if you look at the chain, the value chain, and the supply chain, it's very easy to determine who is undercutting.
But have you seen the link between what you are talking about and textile we discussed last 2 weeks?
Same thing.
It's almost like the thing is replicating itself in all markets.
And who are the leaders? There are companies that have located into Ghana in the name of FDI, and they are beating us to it, undercutting and disadvantaging our local companies
with our own acquiescence.
Yes,
of course, you can't do this without.
You see, so
local content.
If we don't check this one, then we are not being fair to the companies. So, yes, Minister, you are concerned, same as the Ghana Real Estate Association is concerned, same as consumers are concerned. But if we are going to buy cement for 110 cedis each today, tomorrow, if the dollar gets to 16,
the price will go up.
You can instruct the cement companies to reduce.
When they are importing clinker,
maybe they should instruct
using
the dollar to stay still.
So the reality is that we need to go back to the drawing board and check who is dodging the taxes. That thing, it's so dear to my heart. Those who are dodging the tax and are declaring their incomes and all this, the revenue and all that. If we can check that one, at least we give an equal platform for everybody.
This last message,
yes.
I think you should read it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it says, Ben, when the proper due diligence is done, even where a person claims ownership, the law favors you. As for me, I do my due diligence by 1, checking the Lands Commission for ownership, 2, checking with collateral registry if the land has been used as a security, checking at the police station if the seller is fraudulent, 4, checking with the police if there is some dispute over the land, 5, checking at the courts within the jurisdiction of the court if there are any disputes over the land and if the seller is in court over any other matter, 6, checking with adjoining neighbors about the history and ownership of the said land. Now, sometimes the challenge is that the buyers are in a rush to buy. You see, this checklist is a very beautiful checklist. And if you are interested in buying land, you might want to follow it. And there's a principle in law known as the bona fide purchaser for value, where you buy the thing without knowledge of all these disputes because you have taken reasonable steps meticulously to ensure that you establish no dispute over the land. In that case, if you buy unaware of some of these things, the law would be asking of you.